So I got the water pump out. Let's take a look. It'll be kind of hard to notice, but it takes a bit of force to, and see it takes a bit of force to turn it, but it catches and then still forceful, and then it releases. And then it's forceful. So also, like, those bearings are gone. Probably the seal's gone. Everything. I'm gonna go over here to the new one, and it's just nice and smooth. It's really hard to here, even if I lay it on the box, rotates nice and easy. Let's try doing that with this guy. The whole thing turns. Oh, there you go. It found that soft little spot, but then it binds. So those bearings are shot, the seals are shot. Could rebuild it, but like I said earlier, for 25 bucks, I got a nice smooth one and a gasket and everything. So that's the radiator hose. That's going to get replaced. This little guy I didn't order. That's an arrow. Not sure if that's the inlet. I think that's the inlet. Yeah, that'd be the inlet. I'm going to order those hoses too. Basically, if you put new hoses on any part of your system, the new hoses aren't going to break. Your old hoses are your weakest point, and they're going to break. Now your new hose can hold a lot of pressure. This guy can't. So while you got it apart, I keep saying, fix it all, because I don't want to have to go back into here and in a month or two, or even during this cold weather, and have to dig this guy back out. That's a long ways in, and you can't do that without taking everything else out. But yeah, you can see the sludge. There's a bit of metal in there even, so that's not good. The bearing's definitely getting eaten up. But all this, it's been leaking for a while, so I'm definitely replacing everything in here. Clean this all up. Be nice to get a pressure washer in there, but that's not going to happen. This old gasket off of the water pump area before we even think of putting the other one back on. You got to get that 100% clean. I like using these little paint scrapers or razor blade scrapers, whatever you want to call it. It does a nice clean job. You just get it in. Careful if they're extremely sharp. Keep your other hand out of the way. I've cut myself numerous times, but you just go slowly. Pry it off. Go slow. You really don't want to gouge any of the steel, which you can do pretty easily. So I just pick off a little bit at a time. I'm only going to record a short bit of this because I really like to do this with two hands, pulling it off, and then that way I don't slip like I just did, and I don't gouge any of the steel along the way. After I'm done, I'll grab a little like maybe 150, 180 grit sandpaper. Just lightly scuff the area just to make sure everything's off, make sure everything's clean, and that everything's gone. That way you don't get any more leaks in the future when you put your brand new seal on. So I got most of the gasket material all scraped off, and I think I said earlier I use like 150, 180, but I use 220. Just general sandpaper. Nothing expensive, nothing fancy. I know there's better things and everybody has their whatever, but I'm trying to do everything like usual, as cheap as possible. I use this sandpaper in the shop all the time, and I have lots of it, so I'm not going to go out and buy something special. No emery cloth. Anyway, you're just lightly going over this. This isn't all, this isn't a lot of gasket material left. This is actually just from seepage, and so it's kind of like a corrosion almost. But I'm just going to go lightly over it. I really don't want to take any steel off. That's not the intention. You're just trying to make sure the surface is clean. And you'll go through a few chunks of sandpaper because it gets gummed up pretty quick, especially after cleaning it with the WD and the scraper. And the air. It's still got gunk all over the place, so I just want to get a nice even surface. And depending on your vehicle too, sometimes there might be a little lip. You definitely don't want to sand that lip off. If it's actually part of the block, don't try to sand that off. You just want to get in there nicely and get it all nice and evenly silvered. And feel with your hand. If there's no actual buildup, it's like that's smooth right there. It looks like something, but there's no gasket. It's smooth. So I'm not going to keep sanding that even though it looks like it, because I don't want to put a bevel on there and then create another leak. So you just got to go by touch, make sure there's nothing built up, and that you can get a proper seal on your new part. So still plugging away on the cooling system. That's where the water pump goes, and if you need access to it, that's the thermostat. A really big pain in the butt to get to. Right now it's not a pain in the butt, but normally if you are working on a vehicle, it's usually top and center, easy to get to, usually 2 or 3 bolts, get it undone. This one has 3 bolts. This one bolt back in here, I don't know if we can see it, but yeah, back there, there's a 3rd bolt. The tensioner is actually in the way, so you can either flex it up and out of the way or take it off, or use a really tight swivel, and that's what I did. I was able to use an extension and just get my 10mm socket in there to get it off. Just to show you why I'd replace it as I go. This is the old one. The seal is toast, it's brittle, it's almost breaking off. I actually got to put the seal on the new one, but this is the new one. It's not caked in. What it is, I think, why everything's this yellowy, white, pale, ugly color is the previous owner poured in some of the stop leak stuff into the radiator, hoping to stop the coolant leak, and it's basically coated everything in there with this slime, almost, even just inside the water pump. But in comparison, that's what it's supposed to look. So it's water pump time. Decided to paint it blue. I had a can of blue left over from an old Ford Econoline that I had many years ago. It's just been sitting on the shelf, so I figured I'd do the water pump blue and the thermostat housing blue. Just add a little bit of color into there. I touched up these with some gloss black paint. I wire brushed them, sanded them out, got any gunk out of them, and just gave them a face. This part up here, if it has some paint on it, it's all like right there. And it's just all gonna wear off as soon as I put the belt on. It'll just zip right off, so I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, I'll give you a shot of what this looks like after I put in 12 of these little bolts and torque them in. This guy is going in. Water pump and thermostat housing that was painted blue is all installed. I think after that, I gotta add some more color to any of the parts I take out and replace. I'm going to get some more color for. I think some red, green, yellow, orange, whatever I can find at Princess Auto in spray cans of high gloss. Throw a little bit of clear coat over top of them. Might not last very long. The heat might chip it off right away, but it looks cool for now.